Hello everyone, this is DavidViadel23 and welcome to the Mandragora's Cave. Today we are going to be talking about One Piece chapter 1188. Obviously, it's going to be full of spoilers up to the latest manga. Obviously, there is break this week, and obviously, if you haven't read up until here, I recommend you click here and check other videos that are not with spoilers, okay? So, key things that happened in this episode is basically Luffy transforms into a Djinn, into a Genie, okay? And he ends up being defeated in Gear 5, okay? So I want to go through the pages and I want to see what road this path may take, because it's very difficult. So as you can see for the miniature, I decided to go for the Genie design more than the defeat, because what I think is gonna happen here is that this creature, we are not gonna see him much transformed like this. We're gonna see Luffy in other transformations, obviously, and I think this is the chance. We will always have an opportunity to draw Luffy in Gear 5 or to explain all the information we may have from Luffy in Gear 5 in a specific video, okay? But for analysis, for today, I think something like this is good, okay? So let's design. We have more or less this space to work, so I may move the page a little bit more like this, yeah? And start kind of sketching all the things that the character has, okay? So the chapter is called Void. We have a color spread. Oda promised in the previous week that we will have a color spread because summer is here, we have good weather, and it is like underwater type of drawing where all the Strawhats are, you know, swimming around or in bubbles. Very nice, okay? I love when Oda does these type of things. I have the Color Walk Compendium, the green, the blue, and the purple. I don't know if there is another one. Maybe there is a yellow one, I don't have it yet. So in these compendiums, what Oda does is he collects all of these color spreads. So you can actually, you know, cut them if you want as a posters and put them in your room, for example, for decoration and things like this. At the moment, I'm quite collector, so I don't wanna cut the paper and put it outside, so I like to watch them and I have them very nice, and it's good for references as well if you are drawing, but yeah, I think they're a little bit expensive, but I think they're worth it if you are a fan of One Piece. So the chapter starts and we have some sort of Dendenmushi call. Obviously, if this is talking about, you know, 800 years ago, 900 years ago, the Dendenmushis may have been already at that point working. Obviously, we know that Vegapunk was advanced for his generation, but all the things, or many things that he created were based on blueprints that he found, probably, from that time. So he was kind of following some sort of pattern as well, and if it is confirmed soon that, you know, at that time we had Dendenmushis, it wouldn't be a surprise for me. It's something expected. It's something that it's the way of communication in One Piece. If Oda is gonna change that at the moment, it will be a little bit weird, I would say, because we are very set in this type of phones, let's say, okay? So let's do the face for the Majin. I just want to focus a little bit, make this kind of round nose, and we will do the cheeks. This is a very cartoonized character. We have never seen something like this in One Piece. There is one of the Big Mom strongest characters as well, having a fruit of a Djinn, okay, and we see the Djinn fighting Sanji, fighting a couple of guys there, and we could actually draw him at some point, or both of them, because he's like drawing two different characters, but we don't normally see these extravagant type of characters within Luffy, okay? So that's why I wanted to go for it. So let's kind of situate the eyes and how the eyebrows, the flame eyebrows that he has like this, are gonna be looking like this, okay? I just want to focus 1 second. So Imu is talking with Joy Boy basically in this conversation, in this kind of darkened conversation where one is asking to the other, who are you, who are you? It is not very clear who is on the other side at first, but then we see a silhouette, we see a figure, we see a little bit of a face saying, I'm Joy Boy, okay? I thought Joy Boy was a title given, not a name as such. Like Straw Hat Luffy is Straw Hat as nickname for everyone, but his name is Luffy. So I thought Joy Boy would be the same. We still have to know a lot of things about Joy Boy, so I wouldn't theorize much about this because we don't have information, to be honest. We don't have many data here to be able to confirm any kind of thing relating to this, but it was an expected face reveal. It looks pretty similar to Luffy. I am not fan of these theories around or people suggesting this is time travel or this is Luffy from the past that actually is from the future. Like, let's say Luffy finishes his journey, travels in time to the past, and he becomes Joy Boy in the past to help whoever is in the past, and then travels back to the future, or maybe ends up dying in the future, that is the past actually. I do not like that idea because of paradox. I am fan of time travel. I like, movies like Back to the Future and things like this, and I write my own stories, and sometimes I apply things like this, and I try to see why can it work and why it cannot work, okay? In most of the cases, it is a very, very, very difficult topic to define in a story. So I wouldn't want Oda to mess with time travel. Apart from the Toki experience, Oda, please don't go into that area because it can be a little bit difficult to create, and at the same time for the reader to understand, okay? I don't think that's gonna be the case. The audience of Oda, and this is confirmed by Oda, ages ago, he got a little bit scared after 3-4 years of releasing the manga weekly, because he saw that One Piece got very big, and his target audience, that was, Japanese teenagers, more or less like 15, 16, 17, that was expanding, so a lot of people from other countries were actually reading, watching and everything, and he got a little bit scared in the sense of, oh, actually maybe all of this is gonna be out of my hands because I don't know the other audience. He himself obviously is Japanese and he grew up in Japan, so he knows what it is to be a Japanese teenager, but he doesn't know how to be a teenager in another country, so maybe that information is coming across to other people in a different way. And the time travel concept, it can be a very difficult to explain topic in your own language. Imagine if it is translated for a whole across globe, basically. So I would say let's not go into that realm, okay? Imu seems very upset, and he or she, because it's a very androgynous character, says that Joy Boy is long dead, and obviously because he's kind of thinking, is this guy Joy Boy? Is not Joy Boy? He's recognizing Joy Boy in Luffy's power, in the fruit and everything, but he's not sure. She's confused, I would say. She's confused, okay? So let's do... I want to actually draw quite loose, so obviously, because it's a very funny character, I don't want this to be exactly like it is in the drawing. I want it a little bit, like, yes, we follow the pattern, but I want to do it a little bit my own way as well. Maybe the head is going to be a little bit bigger, or the muscles are a little bit bigger. Like, this character reminds me as well to, how was his name, Neptune as well. Neptune character, the king of the underwater realm. Okay, so we do all of these details for the hat and everything, and yeah, so we continue the story, and they are fighting, and Imu is telling Luffy that it reminds him to Joy Boy. Luffy is saying that, what are you talking about? Don't talk to me like that. I'm not that person. I'm me. They start to fight more. Luffy is obviously using his Gomu Gomu techniques, like to evade an attack, like moving the head away and things like this. And we are able to see that Imu's power is like plasticine, is able to adapt, is able to morph and change, and the punch that Imu throw at Luffy changes direction. A lot of this, it is clearly explained that it comes from the tiny flames that have faces, like in Big Mom Saga, that all the souls have faces and everything. This is, in my opinion, because the flames are sentient, the flames, in my opinion, are giving the power to Imu somehow. Maybe if the flames are removed, like from the Lunarians, Imu is gonna be vulnerable. Okay, so I would say let's keep an eye on this. Let's keep an eye on these flames and how we are gonna be able to neutralize the flames to be able to hit Imu or damage Imu or do something against Imu, because it is very particular. What we are seeing is that not Imu is controlling that punch. He throws the punch, yes, but mid direction is changing because the flames are tracking Luffy there, okay? This is like a bazooka, basically. It punches Luffy on the head and there is a massive explosion. Luffy ends up all black, all burned, and then he comes out rushing, you know, jumping, all burned as well, tries to hit Imu and fails. Imu is very fast, and then Imu tries to hit Luffy as well, and then he fails as well because Luffy is being very fast as well. So there is a lot of, you know, back and forth here with fighting, and Imu is using all the time these palm attacks, and I explained in my previous video, I explained that it reminds me a lot to Boruto. In Boruto is the comic that goes after Naruto, okay? Recently it's going on still, it's not finished yet, and we have this karma and this kind of, let's say, science items that they are created, they are science tools for the ninjas. So with the karma, with this kind of divine power that the main characters have, you have this kind of tattoos on the arms, on the face, and they behave like this. They can extract things as well, extract power from the palm and things like this, or from different types of the body, different parts of the body, and we see something similar to what Imu is doing here. Maybe, I'm not sure if this is something very ingrained in Japanese mythology, Japanese lore. We need to investigate more a little bit, but it is a very strong coincidence, okay? So, after all these punches back and forth, we see this transformation. Luffy transforms into the Genie, into a Majin, into a Djinn. Why? We have seen Luffy's transformations, and when I saw Gear 2nd, when I saw Gear 3rd, that was very epic. That was a surprise, that was unexpected, and I do not understand now how this is working anymore, okay? I think the conflict that may be here is what I'm feeling, Luffy should feel as well. I do not get this transformation. It doesn't look like Luffy. If you see this image out of context, you would never say that this is Luffy. The only clue that we have is the scar on the face, okay? And that's it. There are some details, you know, like the bandana, this type of bandana that Luffy has here hanging, always, that we will draw it later in a bit, in purple. But why? Okay, we will go into that for a second. But basically, he is very serious about, oh, I'm not gonna let Loki's death go in vain, and then we realize, and we know this because we know this, that Loki is not dead actually, and Imu is gonna attack Loki. This attack is intercepted by Jinbe. This is good, because what Oda is telling us with this image is calm down, and the attacks that Imu is doing are not that strong. physically. Jinbei is extraordinarily strong. He is super strong. He is Shichibukai level. He was, in fact, a Shichibukai. And we can't say that Jinbei is one of the weaklings or Jinbei is this. Jinbei is a top tier character in the One Piece universe, and he's very strong. So obviously we are not gonna say that Usopp is gonna stop one of these attacks, but someone that is like Jinbei, like Crocodile, like Moria, like Doflamingo, these guys are tough. These guys have abilities. So Jinbei is asking Luffy if he wants him to protect Loki. He will do so, and this is what happens. Luffy is kind of, oh, okay, now I can go full on. I'm not gonna go easy anymore because that job, I'm giving it to you. In every saga we have this. Someone is protecting someone for Luffy, so Luffy can focus in the fight and forget about everything else. And I like that. And at the same time we see the rest of the guys that they are trying to see what's going on. What is that Luffy? Who is that one fighting Luffy? You know, they are being aware of Imu. At all of this, Gunko is still frozen. She is being defrosted slowly because the hammer, Ragnir, hit it, so he's defrosting it. And Imu is like, are you not able to break from that ice? So maybe Imu doesn't know the limitation of the ice powers from Ragnir as well. That's very interesting. They keep fighting a little bit more. Luffy transforms the sword that is generated from these small flames, this kind of omen attacks again, and Luffy is able to escape from that attack. But you see how Imu is playing with the power, and he creates a very elegant and very creepy Halloweeny sword, okay? This sword is full of dark flames, scary dark flames. And as something is in the direction of these flames, it gets completely drained, basically. Crocodile. Straight away, when I saw this, that's Mr. Zero, Crocodile, in the Arabasta saga. Crocodile's power is the sand power. He is able to, with one hand, extract all the water from anything and dry it, basically. Like the show of this power when he's introduced is that he has a flower on the hand, and just by holding it, the flower kind of dies and dries out, okay? And this is basically the same. And this kind of sword or blade of the void or blade of nothingness, basically, it is draining the essence, it's draining the water, it's draining the life of living beings, because it's showing to you the example with a tree, okay? And I like it, but I want to see how Oda is going to twist it. The direction that he is pointing with the sword, that is towards Luffy, dries the whole branch, because remember that we are on top of a tree, we are on top of a ginormous branch, so it dries the whole thing. Luffy is running around very fast, and just with a swift move of the hand and by teleport, we see how Luffy is hit. The face that he makes of pain and blood, it is crazy. We have seen these faces before, yes, we have seen these faces in the past, and is bad. Kid, when he is defeated, he makes this face. Law, when he is defeated, he makes this face as well. So this may be a Luffy completely defeated. As I said at the beginning, well, not at the beginning, but as I said right now, this reminds me to Crocodile. The final drawing is Imu, that is quite big, quite large, has pierced Luffy on the chest with the sword that is gonna dry everything. There is a crazy amount of blood dripping from his chest, dripping under him as well. Luffy is still in Gear 5, but and he says that, you know, Joy Boy was not this weak. So this is a moment in One Piece. Crocodile grabs Luffy in this same position, okay? Crocodile pierces Luffy with a hook, and Luffy, we think that he's dead, so he throws him into the quicksand to be kind of swallowed by the sand and basically asphyxiate inside this sand trap, basically. And what is the meaning of this? The meaning of this is Luffy was playing around. Luffy was being Luffy, and when we started the new world, I remember this many times when I'm seeing Luffy fight. Luffy always fights in a funny way, okay, in a comical way, but with Gear 5 is more. When we arrive into Punk Hazard and we go into the lab and everything, and there is this moment where they are gonna start following and chasing the bad guys with the Marines and everything there, with the Smoker and the Shida there as well, and Luffy is living in a UFO mode. He's kind of swirling with the legs, flying, and Zoro shouts at him and says, "Hey, get real, get serious, because this is the new world. This is not the first part of the Grand Line." And Luffy is like, "Yeah, don't worry." So he fights like this. He fights in a funny way. I like it. But I think this is the problem. In the previous episode, that I'm gonna put here if you wanna watch as well, we have Sanji being told by Rayleigh in this flashback, within a flashback, that yes, he has all the abilities to become a conqueror's as well, a conqueror's user as well, and but he's blocked. He has a problem. He has an internal issue that he needs to solve before he's able to become the king that he needs to be for himself and for Luffy, okay? And this is something that I think Zoro obviously is going ahead of him, but we need to see this development in both of the support characters for Luffy that are Zoro and Sanji. I think Luffy is having the same issue. I think Luffy is blocked. I think Luffy is not aware of what he is yet, and that is the problem. I think Luffy is still thinking that he ate the Gomu Gomu. He has awakened the fruit, he's super strong now, and there are not many characters that can follow up in whatever Luffy is doing. So I think he needs a change. And the change is a revelation. The revelation needs to tell him, you are actually this sun god, joy boy fruit, and you need to use that different type of power, okay? The power of creativity that we have seen with Luffy lately, that he's able to do anything, and most of the things have nothing to do with Gomu Gomu anymore, like this guy, nothing to do with Gomu, but just with imagination. Why the choice of a genie in this case? Because a genie is a character like Luffy in this case, or Imu in this case. They are all-powerful beings. The genie, or the Djinn, from the Arabian Nights, this is a compendium of stories, the Scheherazade stories. Basically, these guys are, like in Aladdin's story from this same book, these guys have unlimited power, basically. There are a set of rules that they can't break, that's why they are wearing shackles, and they can't actually kill, they can't actually revive a loved one or something like that, and there's a couple, I don't remember exactly, but there's like a couple of rules that these guys have, not only the rules shown in the Aladdin Disney movie, but the specific rules that these Djinns can't break, okay? And so they are confined, they are slaves, even if they are all-powerful, they are slaves, okay? So the choice of this type of drawing, in my opinion, is because Luffy, at the moment, unaware of what he is like a Djinn. He is someone in chains, because he doesn't know his own potential. If not, this character would have been drawn without these kind of shackles, because these are actually magical shackles that if they break, if they are open, then you are free. You are free to do whatever you want. Luffy is very vocal lately, since the Gear 5, about, I never been this free, I'm the freest that I ever been, and that's how I look when I'm in Gear 5. No. Okay? That power, I think, is limited, and we see it with this example. If not, I don't understand why this Genie character completely out of the blue. If I would have said, okay, this is another gear, like a gear 3rd, a gear 4th, that they look some kind of creature, some kind of monsters, but Luffy is recognizable, yes. But in this specific case, no. So what can happen now, in my opinion, is two things. The first thing, and it is clear for everyone, most likely, is that Luffy is defeated, and Luffy is not waking up, at least right now, okay? This is like in Crocodile. Luffy needs to be thrown to the side, like it happens in Crocodile. Luffy needs to think of a way, like the water in Crocodile, or like the blood in Crocodile, to be able to fight this type of character, okay? This character is a little bit out of limits. I do not think, not a chance that Imu is defeated here. I said it since the beginning of Elbaf. Imu cannot be defeated in Elbaf. Imu needs to be defeated in Pangaea. We need to take the fight to Pangaea. We need to ally with Blackbeard to be able to defeat Imu. The whole beef that we have seen in the flashback with Rocks is Rocks lineage with Imu. So that is a fight. The whole problem that we have seen with the revolutionaries with Sabo seeing Imu in the Reverie, that's with the revolutionaries, that's Sabo as well, another Flame Emperor, son character, needs to fight as well. So there are gonna be multiple characters that they need to come together to fight Imu and join forces. Good guys, bad guys, and then afterwards, because this is a pirate story, not a world government story and not a black magic story, this is a pirates story, then the final fight for the One Piece is gonna be, you know, Luffy versus Blackbeard versus Buggy versus Crocodile, all of these characters in a Davy back fight, all of these characters doing pirate things to get to the One Piece and to become the Pirate King, okay? So, I know some of you may think that we may actually see a defeat of Imu here or something like that, but as you can see now for what happens in this scene, in this last page, that's not gonna happen. There is no other character here that can face Imu. If Luffy is not gonna defeat Imu, no one can defeat Imu there. No Dory, no Brogy, not... I don't think for a million years what is gonna happen is that, all of the Strawhats are gonna get Gear 5 and all of them are gonna fight together. No, not a chance. That is Luffy's power. So, I think we will have 2 or 3 rounds, like in Crocodile. In Crocodile we had 3 rounds. First round, when he is pierced with a hook, and then he comes back and he has the water and he's able to fight a little bit with water, but then he's defeated as well. And then the third round in the underground, in that tomb of the Nefertari, and then he is all wet with his own blood, and that's why he's able to punch and defeat Crocodile. So, many things happening there at the same time, and I think this is a pattern. This is a pattern that Luffy has when he's fighting some of the top tier characters. One Piece was done in a way to last only 5 years, and almost every episode I say this. Keep in mind that Arabasta, if you think about it, is kind of the script of the whole story, and whatever happens with Bibi is gonna be a final moment character. Whatever happens with the Arabasta Kingdom is gonna be final character. Whatever happens with someone like Crocodile is gonna be final character for the end of the story. So some of these things we are seeing applied to Imu here. We like the sand power, like with the void power. There's a lot of darkness, like this character is a mix between multiple characters, okay? So we have seen a little bit of Crocodile now, we have seen a little bit of Blackbeard with this darkness, we have seen a little bit of Big Mom, a little bit of Kaido. She has a little bit of everything, okay? And that is good, that is nice, but we need to situate what's happening here. So, what I may see happening here is the same or pretty similar to what happened in the rooftop fighting Kaido. Luffy in theory dies there, no? He's smashed and he dies, and then he awakens. There is when he awakens, and you know, there's like this talk, oh Joy Boy, oh who are you, blah 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 blah, Joy Boy, Song God, and Luffy is like, no, it's me, it's Luffy, and I become the king of the pirates. Maybe the fruit is gonna take over now. Maybe Luffy has died again, and the fruit is gonna take over. Joy Boy may open his eyes, maybe do a burst of haki or weaken Imu. Whatever happens with this interaction with these two characters, these two mystical characters, Gunko needs to be involved. Gunko's eyes is a timer. When the eyes is gonna be almost done, Gunko, to save Brook and to save Brook's friends, Gunko is gonna attack Imu. She may die here, probably she's gonna die here, but whatever Gunko is gonna do here is gonna define how Imu is able to, not able, but is forced to return to Pangea, return to Marijoa, okay? I know you may wanna see more fight. I know as well we still have Zorro fighting, but Zorro is not gonna be able to fight a character of this caliber, at least yet. And whatever happens with Sanji is to focus in saving the kids. So these two characters are not gonna be able to help at all here, okay? Just so you keep that in mind. I know is uncomfortable because we want to see Luffy winning all the time. We want to see how strong he is and how he has no limits. But we need to understand that what Oda is doing as well most of the time here is to explain how, you know, not everyone has the ultimate power, and there is always something or someone with another type of power that is gonna be able to contrarrest this. There's always opposite powers, okay? Like when we saw Enel, and then suddenly we had a character like Luffy being able to withstand whatever electricity power Enel was throwing at him, that we never seen that before, okay? So it is the contrapart, the enemy of the power was in that case. So here, there is a topic regarding powers and regarding fruits that we have not explored yet, and I talk about this in one of my first videos that I'm gonna put here about Rob Rucci, basically the Impel Down jailers, the Minotaurus, the Minozebra, the Minorhino, and all of these guys are people. They were people originally who ate a Zoan fruit. They weren't strong enough. They had no will strong enough to control, manage, have like a communion, have like a partnership with the fruit and become users and be strong. The fruit took over, and that's why they look animalistic. They look out of control. I think this is what happens as well when Chopper uses his third Rumble Ball in the other saga, in my favorite saga, Water 7 Enies Lobby, and this is why, in theory, I think we need to see this with Luffy as well, okay? We need to see how Luffy is gonna lose control. I have some kind of main theories about Luffy having to lose control at some point, and even his own people, his own Nakama, having to stop him. This needs to happen to see how a monster he could be. And we still need to see as well how Luffy is gonna lose the fruit power, because if Luffy is not gonna lose the Akuma no Mi at some point, the ability that Blackbeard has of stealing fruits is useless. The main antagonist, the antagonist is the enemy of the main character, basically. If he doesn't have a secret weapon, that in this case is, hey, I'm gonna steal your fruit, you will not create a power like that. So he needs to, more in the future, but for the end of the story, steal the fruit from Luffy and leave Luffy in a position that he cannot fight with that power that he trained so much. That's why Oda is as well training Luffy in Haki, in all the Hakis, okay? So we have different scenarios that can happen here, but what I see coming is that. What I see coming, to clarify, is Imu now throwing Luffy to the side. Each one of the Strawhats is gonna have a role. Jinbei is protecting Loki, and Nami, she's the one who always does that. She's gonna run towards Luffy, he's gonna embrace him, he's gonna cry, he's gonna, oh, Luffy! He's gonna protect Luffy with all her power, like blocking any kind of attack, possible attack from Imu. Imu is gonna be indifferent, like kind of disappointed, like, oh my god, you know, I was getting excited about fighting Joy Boy again, fighting someone at my level, that it never happened since Joy Boy, obviously, like in 900 years, and she's gonna be sad about it, disappointed, basically, the word is disappointed. And we are gonna see that now, probably in the next episode. There is a break this week because this is coming, because we have a round number that is 1190 coming in a moment, and that's gonna be the moment where Imu, in my opinion, in 1190 is removed from Elbaf. Okay, once Imu is removed from Elbaf, Summers and Killingham are gonna lose the Omen, are gonna lose the extra power given to them, because I think this works in a range, and we have seen this from fruits, from powers in One Piece, with Buggy. Buggy's power has a range of, I think, 200 meters, and if he's further than that, the pieces of his body, they stop moving. So we are gonna see some sort of limitations in these aspects as well. So I'm not gonna say that this is gonna be the only way that Zoro and Sanji can win, but this is gonna be, I think, in my opinion, for storytelling's sake, the way that is gonna go in this episode. As soon as this despair is happening, or maybe before Imo disappears, obviously we will see a Luffy that is gonna awaken. You know, I think Usopp, funnily enough, we've been talking a lot about Usopp as well, and Usopp wanting to do things. We all want Usopp to do something here, because it's his saga, no? We say, or everyone is saying, oh, it's his saga. Ragnir has fallen next to him. Ragnir has fallen, and Loki cannot use him at the moment. I think this is the perfect moment for Usopp to have a hit on Imu as well. Usopp is one of those guys that from doing nothing and then he does everything, and I would love it if he gets a hit on Imu, and actually a damaging hit, breaks something, maybe breaks a horn or something with the hammer, and the hammer can change size, we know this as well, so it will be very convenient that the hammer is gonna change size for Usopp to be able to grab him and attack. I 100% think as well that after this saga, obviously Loki is a friend, is an Akuma of us, and I don't think he will need Ragnir anymore, and I 100% believe that Usopp is gonna end up taking it. Not taking it, but maybe he's gonna end up being the chosen one by the hammer, and the hammer is gonna live with him to have a power up. It will be very nice. I will love it. I wanna know as well what you think about this. I know it's a little bit radical, and we have introduced a lot of Loki with connections with the because the flashback with the hammer and everything, but I think it's something very beautiful if we give Usopp something at this level, at this caliber, because, to be honest, all the guys now are going into a power of level that is absolutely crazy with, you know, Zorro, Sanji, if they do Conqueror's Haki as well, that is tremendous amount of power, Nami with Zeus as well, and we want to see, I want to see something like that for Usopp as well, okay? So we need to do, I made this line a little bit too small, but we are gonna do these lines. This is texturing, okay? If for whatever reason you are here only because the drawings, not much into One Piece, and you want to learn how to do this type of drawings, and I teach you a couple of tips, I have a playlist, a very nice and easy playlist for beginners, for those beginners in the art world that want to start learning how to draw these faces, how to draw this type of bodies, how to understand silhouette, understand panels when drawing a comic, for example. The latest one I've done is about, one of the latest one is about a turnaround, how to do a turnaround for a character, and basically easy things that as well you can practice with, if you have kids, for example, you can practice with your family at home and do a Sunday afternoon chill exercise to learn a little bit about drawing, okay? If you are a teacher as well and you want to use some of those activities for your class with your kids, use it. I've used it in my sessions, and it is very useful, very good, positive all the time. Every time I use it, very good, positive, okay? Very good feedback there. So, we are almost done with the line work. Okay, so we have this handkerchief that is hanging from Luffy's side here that we will paint in purple, because we need to remember that this is Gear 5, so all of the drawing must be almost fully white, apart from some details. Maybe the shackles, I'm gonna paint them in gold, in yellowish, and this is gonna be purple. Well, I should have done this purple and I've done it black. Anyway. But yeah, no much of a color in this character, okay? So, as I said, my bet here is step 1, Luffy falls unconscious. Step 2, Luffy awakens, but not as Luffy, awakens as a Joy Boy, as, you know, Sun God. Maybe he can go a little bit crazy, he can go start jumping, transform a little bit, have a different design in the body, jump and do a couple of silly things that may put people in danger. I would love to see how our guys need to hold Luffy somehow, trap Luffy somehow to be able to awaken the real Luffy. I want to see Akuma no Mi taking over that we haven't seen. The best example is, or if you want to punish a bad guy, like I would have preferred this to see it through Rochi, and how Rochi is kind of punished in this way. Instead of, you know, just being free, he ends up being controlled by the power itself, by the power of the animal. And but showing it through Luffy's point of view, it could be very interesting as well, because Luffy is the main character, and the main character, we don't want him to have any kind of, you know, bad situations, in the way that he cannot actually, Luffy cannot fight against the brute taking over, okay? I do not want to see this as, if you have seen Naruto, in Naruto, when he is aware of Kurama, the 9 tails, the Kyuubi inside of him, sometimes Masashi Kishimoto, that is the author of Naruto, he draws them in this limbo that is basically inside Naruto, inside Naruto's mind. You have this nothingness, it's like an empty canvas, where Naruto is standing, Kyuubi is standing, and they talk there. Even if they can talk mentally, they meet there many times, and they talk there as well, in this inner realm. We see this as well in Harry Potter, when in Harry Potter the last book, and Harry Potter the last movie as well, when Harry Potter has his final moment, one of his final moments, he has an inner dialogue as well with Dumbledore, and the power that he has inside, basically. No spoilers here, but there is an inner dialogue. And it wouldn't surprise me if this happens, something in this line happens with Luffy. I do not want to see it exactly like that, because it will be quite too similar, I would say, too similar for two mangas that are tightly connected, because, you know, those two mangas are, you know, from the magazine, from the Shonen Jump magazine, and have been holding the fort and making the coin for the magazine for a very, very long time, you know, like we have Dragon Ball, we have Bleach as well, we have many stories, but Naruto and One Piece, and they have been hand to hand as well for many years. Actually, like a couple of years ago, Naruto finished, and in fact, when Naruto finished, Kishimoto drew a Straw Hat pirate flag in the cover for his last episode, and then in that same week, Eiichiro Oda, the creator of One Piece as well, have done his cover for that week was a Luffy character eating with Naruto, and Nami was on the side as well, wearing an outfit with the symbol of Konoha, the village from where Naruto is, and it will be too similar in my opinion, but I want to see, I'm very curious to see what is gonna happen with all of this madness, basically. This will tick a lot of boxes. If something like this happens, it will tick a lot of boxes. It will tick the box of explaining Joy Boy stuff. This saga of Elbaf, this arc of Elbaf, surprisingly has been, I would say, the saga of flashbacks, the arc of flashbacks, I would say, and maybe we are not finished yet with that. Maybe we are not finished, maybe we need to see a little bit more, and whatever is gonna happen here is that we're gonna go on in another flashback. We are doing, you know, the Rocks, the God Valley flashback, we are going into the Brook flashback with, you know, Gunko, now we are doing a little bit of Joy Boy as well, like what's going on here, what's going on? It seems to me as well, I have a little bit of impression that maybe Oda is being rushed as well into finishing the story. A lot of lore has been dropped now in this saga. I needed it because after 30 years following the story, I needed to see things like this. Okay, I want to see things happening in the story and things being revealed. Things that I've been waiting many years to know are being revealed now, like, you know, Joy Boy, Powers, Gorusei, Imu, and I love it. But hopefully it doesn't happen like with Bleach. Bleach story is very nice, but Kubo Tite is the creator of Bleach. They said to him, wrap up, finish it, because we need to have a schedule. We need to finish this story, and he rushed a couple of things. So I don't think this will happen to One Piece. Maybe just a little bit. I know One Piece has become obviously bigger than Bleach, and you know, now we have the live action, we have as well many movies, games, everything. This has become a sensation at the moment, and Oda is reaching to more people now because the live action. A lot of people, and this is totally normal, they can say, oh, you know, I don't like manga, I don't like comic, I don't like reading. And that's totally valid. They might say, oh, you know, I don't like those things, but I would watch a live action series with characters, you know, with people, with real people in it. And that's when we have Iñaki and Emily and, you know, Makenyu and the rest of the guys to do their part and take One Piece to those nakama that they are not gonna be reading the manga because they don't want to, but they are okay by watching a movie with people, watching a series with people. That's totally okay as well, okay? And if you are only live action and you happen to be here today, thanks for being here, okay? And I have this playlist as well for you where I analyze all the seasons, all the trailers so far. I talk about the characters and I talk about things that they added in the live action where we, manga readers, didn't see in the manga, but this is extras that they are implied in the manga but never shown in a drawing, okay? Only mentioned. Like, as I said in the previous video, the fight between Zorro and Mr. 7, okay? Mr. 7, this is the first episode of the live action season 1, okay? That never happened in the manga. It is mentioned, but never happened in an image, in a drawing, in the manga. But we know that because it is mentioned, okay? So I like that that type of detail from the live action team, that they said, oh, you know, we love One Piece, we're gonna do things like this, and we are gonna, you know, feed the fans that have been here for 30 years, because those guys probably as well are fans for, you know, from very early One Piece time, so I love it. So, just to recap a little bit of what we have been talking today, we have been talking about One Piece chapter 1188, we have described a little bit the fight of Imu versus Luffy in Gear 5, and the type of power that seems to be sentient in Imu seems to be, you know, a darkness power that is, I would say, probably even possessing Imu in a way. Maybe this is something that when Luffy transforms into Joy Boy, because we may see that, and we may see that very soon, maybe Luffy can have a design that is pretty similar to Imu. With this kind of magicness around, with the things floating around, with the tail, you know, all the flames, because we already have this kind of flames and this kind of decorations that as well, that all of these are from Japanese lore, Japanese mythology and lore, okay? So, yeah, let's do all of these details here. This is looking very nice, the drawing, I'm very happy with the drawing. You can see when I'm enjoying a chat more, because the drawings most of the time end up being very nice. And I like as well, I don't normally keep the characters in white, and I like it as well because it's kind of very sweet, and the contrast is very interesting as well. So I love it, I love it, I love it very much. If you have some requests that I haven't drawn your favorite character yet, put it in the comment section down below, and I will draw him or her or it, or an object, or a fruit, or talk about something in One Piece that you want me to talk and I haven't talked yet, or you want me to explain again and I will explain again. Please do so, put it in the comment section and we can open conversation, okay? I love to talk about One Piece, and I'm more than happy to answer, obviously within the respect, without arguing. No need to argue, because we have all of us different opinions about everything, but within the respect we can have a nice conversation about superpowers, pirates, and everything we want to talk about it, okay? Let's do all of this and all of this. So I say here in this episode that the power of Luffy now becoming a genie, a Djinn, is because Luffy, like Sanji, is not aware of their potential. They are not aware of their potential. Luffy is in shackles at the moment, as I think, and he needs to acknowledge, okay, I have the Sun God fruit. Okay, I'm gonna use this fruit as Sun God should use, not as a Gomu Gomu fruit, okay? I think this is what needs to happen now. This is not a level up. This is not an upgrade. This is not a gear 6, in my opinion. It's more a understanding. Okay, I've been using my power wrong for a couple of years. Now I'm gonna start to rethink and use it in a way that is loyal to the fruit, okay? And all of this because the power of creativity. So I understand it, but I think Luffy needs a revelation. Luffy needs to be aware of his power, and we haven't seen that. We have seen in Wano how he transformed, and I was a little bit shocked. I was like, is no one gonna explain this? Is Luffy not aware of this? He's fighting up there. Has the guys, the Nakama, have seen Luffy actually in this shape and color? No. Later we have seen him transformed as well in the Vegapunk saga, in the Egghead saga, and they were like, ooh, that is Luffy, that is Luffy's form. Oh wow, all of them were in the TV, in the lab, watching him fighting Ruchi and fighting, Gurusei and everything. Oh wow, Luffy. They need to ask questions, they need to say what's going on, what is this type of power, and in this image of the Djinn, Luffy doesn't look like Luffy. This is telling us Luffy is not aware of what he is yet, and for winning against Imu, to be able to defeat Imu, he needs to understand what's happening, okay? 3 times, like in Crocodile, I think is what we will need to face Imu, and we will have this kind of awakening where Luffy changes, and then there will be a internal conversation with Imu as well, to say, oh Joy Boy, at last I see you. And yeah, the madness in Luffy's eyes, and sometimes the anime is giving us spoilers, okay? And there is this beautiful, crazy animation in Egghead, Luffy versus Ruchi, okay? And Ruchi is like, yeah, transform and let's fight. And then Luffy transforms in Gear 5 straight away, boom, and punches him in the face. And for a split second, Ruchi's expression changes, like, oh, this is not the transformation I was expecting, this is not the transformation that you got before, and the one who defeated me before. What is this? That is important. That is important, and I like this connection with the fruit, but I need to have a little bit of explanation. Regarding Sanji, Sanji needs to see his priorities. At the moment, with Sanji, and I think I may have talked about this a little bit in the previous episode, but With Sanji, what happens is very funny. Everyone out there, and don't take me wrong with this, I love Sanji, but everyone out there is like, oh, you know, Sanji and Zorro are exactly the same strong. It cannot be. Zorro is training 24/7, physically training 24/7. Sanji is training a lot, yes, but he's cooking, and cooking a lot, to take care of all of them, okay? Like a doctor. He cannot be physically as strong as Zorro, ever, okay? So what Oda does in this scenario is like, ooh, Germa 66 will come, Exoskeleton will come, the suit will come, and I'm gonna pump Sanji up in level to make him stronger, so he can carry on next to Zorro, okay? Because these two are my guys, okay? Good. But Sanji is not that guy. Sanji is not that guy. Who is Sanji? In my opinion, is the brains of the operation. So when we need to rescue a Nico Robin, Sanji is gonna go in the train, infiltrate, save, you know, help Usopp, and then go and declare the war and everything. Sanji is the brains, is the one doing a strategist. So I think he needs to embrace that part, and when he realizes in this saga that he is the man with the plan, he's the mind, and then he will awaken Kongoros-haki. Then, yes, he will awaken Kongoros-haki and he will say, oh, my strength, yes, it can be physical, but the physical strength of the group is for Zorro. For Zorro, he's the strong, and he's the brains. So, that's why they are the wings of the Pirate King. Not the wings, they need to be the same strength so they can fly, the bird can fly. No, it's not about that. It's about both of them are giving things to this team, to this crew, that are powering them up, okay? So I think with this we finished. I'm just gonna clean up a little bit the mess here with that I've done with the pencil around a little bit, but I think we finished. I don't want to add more darkness around because I think Oda is gonna keep it quite white, the design. When we reach to the anime in this point, we can come back here and to see if we were accurate or not with the color choice, but I think it's gonna be pretty similar to Gear 5 Djinn, basically. A couple of details more here and there, and that's it. And yeah, I think it's gonna be like this, and obviously the anime, the Toei animation, will define all of these colors and shadows and everything, and we will be able to see exactly how does it look. And regarding Imu, is tightly connected to Gunko. What is gonna happen now? If not, we wouldn't have had the Gunko flashback with Brook here, okay? We wouldn't have had Imu now in this episode while he's, you know, looking at Gunko defrosting, saying like, ooh, that guy with the afro, that reminds me to someone, but no, it cannot be, like, he should be dead. This is because, what I said, as soon as Gunko is gonna break loose of the ice, she's gonna be a little bit more aware of herself, and is gonna help Brook to kick out Imu of the scene, and it needs to happen, okay? And that is gonna be very interesting as well. The outfit that Imu is wearing, this godly Viking type of outfit, godly because it reminds me 100% to Enel's outfit, but at the same time, Usopp is wearing pretty similar outfit here as well. So I expect Usopp to go from 0 to 100 pretty quick and soon. When Akuma is in danger, Usopp is there in the middle to sacrifice himself, okay? When Zorro is gonna be smashed on the floor in Shabaodi, Brook and Usopp, they jump in front of Kizaru and they start, you know, shooting at him, piercing him with the sword, and Kizaru was gonna kill them all there, basically. When we have the Arabasta saga, once again, talking about Arabasta and talking about Bibi and talking about Crocodile, when we have that saga, Usopp has a double fight with Chopper against Mr. 4, okay, and Miss Merry Christmas. and Usopp ends up destroyed there. And they are mocking Luffy's dream. And then he stands up and he said, no way you are going to be mocking Luffy in front of me. So he puts his feet in the ground there and he says, yeah, I'm going to defeat you. He is the guy who goes on his own to the Frankie family house, and is going to fight them all to recover the money. Okay? So he needs to assist Luffy here. He is the man to now step in. Jinbei has a job, that is protect Loki. Zorro has a job, that is fight Summers. Sanji is fighting Killingham. Nami needs to go and assist Luffy and shield Luffy like he always done, like in Germa 66 saga, okay? And then Usopp is the one who's gonna have to fire at Imu, attack Imu. None of the attacks are gonna do anything, and maybe there is when Ragnir, he's gonna grab Ragnir and maybe hit him once, but strong. Like he's gonna say, oh, hold on a minute, who are you, okay? There are other names from the past that Imu has mentioned during this fight, not in this episode, but in previous episodes, and we do not know who these people are. Maybe Oda is gonna fall in the pattern, like many authors do sometimes, where something is too much repetitive from the past, no? Like we have another sun god, another character that they lived 900 years ago. Maybe Usopp is the descendant of another one of these characters that they were friends or nakamas of Joy Boy as well at the point. It could be as well, but I don't like that chosen one role. I don't want all of them to be the chosen one. I didn't want Sanji to be a prince. I didn't want Zoro to be son of one of the daimyons. I don't want all of these things, but it's happening like this, and all of them maybe in the same line. Like Nami, I think Nami is gonna be Nerona Nami, and Nami is teleported, yes, from the past. In the war with Joy Boy, I think Nami as a baby was teleported into the present time, and then she was found by Belmer, and I have a full theory about that I'm gonna put here as well if you wanna look at it. But a lot of things happening. I am loving it. I wanna reread all of the saga so far together because there's a lot to digest. But I am loving it. So I think we finished for today. Let's sign, okay? So we don't keep it more long. So this is DavidViadel23, DavidViadel23. You can say it as you want, and this is the Mandragoscape. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the drawing and the theories and everything. And I'll see you in the next one. Thank you very much. Bye.